How are you doing, you wonderful nerds? Scott here, and I hope that you're still riding that high from Black Panther, even though it came out a few weeks ago. Please tell me that you are still hyped about it, because we actually have a couple videos about Black Panther coming out this week, and I need you to like them. Look, we're almost always late to things here at NerdSync, but not today, because today we're not talking about the first Black Panther movie. What, that ancient thing? No, we're going to be talking about something that'll be coming out in the future. Probably. That's right, we're going to be talking about the sequel to Black Panther today. I don't even think that it's been announced. Let me just check really quickly. No, it seems my internet is made of paper. Have to get that looked at. Anyway, I don't think it's too soon to start speculating about what a Black Panther sequel could theoretically look like. And to do that, we have a guest video today from the channel Captain Midnight, who has a handful of ideas of where he thinks Marvel could take the next Black Panther story. Take it away, sir.
In one of his most well-known turns of phrase, Benjamin Franklin said, "In this world nothing can be certain except death and taxes." With all due respect to old Ben, I think it's pretty safe to add a Black Panther sequel to that list. I mean, seriously, have you seen these box office returns? They're insane. But what would a Black Panther sequel look like exactly? Well, I'm Captain Midnight, and I'm here to offer up a few ideas of where Ryan Coogler and company could take the series in the future. Oh, and there will be some major spoilers for Black Panther in here, so, just be warned. Option 1. Betrayed. There's been quite a few characters to take the name of Malice throughout Marvel history, the earliest of which was actually a buddy of Eric Killmonger's, who attacked Wakanda all the way back in Jungle Action Volume 2 Number 8, from 1974. But it wasn't until a new character took up the mantle of Malice in 1998 with Christopher Priest's run on Black Panther that things got really interesting, because this Malice was none other than Nakia, who MCU fans will of course recognize as a major character in this year's blockbuster. Now, her story in the comics was very different, and heavily involved Killmonger too, so any movie version of this heel turn into villainy would need to be significantly reshaped, but I do think there is a ton of potential in taking a character like this who has such a close relationship with T'Challa and putting them at odds with each other. One of the best things about Ryan Coogler's movie is that Killmonger has a very understandable, and in many ways very sympathetic, backstory and point of view. With Nakia, this could be taken to the next level, creating maybe the most morally ambiguous Marvel film ever. Because although her and T'Challa were getting along great at the end of the film, it is clear that there is some differences between them, and it would be interesting to see that explored here. It would also be a pretty radical and subversive move to see the lead's love interest from the first film be the antagonist of the sequel. And I think it could work well here, because of course Nakia is so much more than just a love interest. She's also a very accomplished Wakandan spy and warrior. Putting these two characters at odds could make for some very compelling and very emotional storytelling. Option 2. Unwanted Aid. As you probably already know if you're watching this, Black Panther's first post-credits scene features T'Challa announcing to the UN that Wakanda is going to step up to the world stage and share its technology with other countries. This leads to some interesting questions, like what would happen if Wakanda tried to help out another country, but its rulers were dead set on using the vibranium for themselves instead of helping their people? That could present an interesting problem for the new king. But what country's leaders would be terrible enough to do this? Well, how about a little nation not yet featured in the MCU called Latveria? Now, okay, I'll admit this one is kind of a long shot with the Disney Fox buyout not being finalized yet and all those messy rights issues. But seriously, how cool would it be to introduce Doctor Doom in a Black Panther sequel? Doctor Doom as the ruler of an entire country isn't really something we've seen on screen before. In the 2005 movie, he was just an annoying CEO. In the 2015 film, he was like a computer programmer or something. I mean, he didn't even get to be a dictator in the unreleased early 90s Fantastic Four movie. Black Panther 2 would be a great way to introduce this element of Doom in a way that doesn't feel forced. And honestly, after 3 little-loved movies in a row, it might be smart to start introducing Fantastic Four characters in other MCU movies to get audiences more interested in them. Because right now, the brand name, it's pretty tainted. More importantly though, I think having Doctor Doom as the antagonist in Black Panther 2 could set up a very interesting contrast between T'Challa and Victor, and could give this sequel a villain as interesting as the first films. Option 3. Arms Race. Another character I would love to see face off against the Black Panther is Moses Magnum, a fairly obscure character first seen in Giant Size Spider-Man number 4 all the way back in 1975. Introduced as the head of the Deterrence Research Corporation, Magnum is a ruthless businessman who isn't afraid to stab anyone in the back at the drop of a hat. In the comics continuity, this guy sold out his own people in Ethiopia and sided with Benito Mussolini just so that he could learn more about Italian military technology. And with T'Challa's big announcement that Wakanda is totally filled to the brim with vibranium, a material we know to be capable of creating some pretty crazy weaponry, it only makes sense that Magnum would try to capitalize on this however he could. Kinda think Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, but as the head of a weapons company. I think he would be a really great counterpoint to T'Challa, who is a very honorable warrior king type. Seeing him have to put up with someone who is completely willing to play dirty and go to any lengths to secure Wakanda's natural resources for himself could be a lot of fun. And the role of Moses Magnum could easily be played as the Weasley love-to-hate type, like Loki in the Avengers, or, to get really old school, in the tradition of Hans Gruber in Die Hard. However he's played, I really think Moses Magnum could serve as a more cerebral, calculating villain, and it would be interesting to see T'Challa take him on after Killmonger, who is much more driven by his passions and anger. Option 4. Invasion. Now you may have noticed a trend in my ideas so far, in that most of them relate to Wakanda's decision to go public with their wealth and technology at the end of the movie. I think this is one of the smartest choices that Ryan Coogler made when writing the script, because not only does it give T'Challa a solid arc in his first film, it also sets up so many possibilities. Making that decision is such a double-edged sword, because it finally gives Wakanda a chance to help more people, but it also puts a giant juggernaut-sized target on their back. Plus, and like all of you, I haven't seen it yet, so please allow me some room for speculation here, it really looks like Wakanda is going to get hit hard by the events of Avengers Infinity War. If that's the case, it only makes sense that other big players on the world stage might try to take advantage of that, and try to take Wakanda's resources for themselves. I think this could be a fascinating story to tell in Black Panther 2, because what T'Challa did was one of the biggest changes to Wakandan society ever attempted, and sometimes change is really difficult. Seeing a large-scale invasion from other countries would really put T'Challa's beliefs to the test, and could lay the groundwork for a very interesting, introspective story. Think about the best superhero movie sequels of all time. Spider-Man 2, The Dark Knight, Steel 2, Back to the Steel Mill. Wait, what? But what those first two do really well is to tear the hero down after the first film built them up, putting them through the ringer emotionally, and making them question whether any of this is worth it at all, before finally coming to the conclusion that they are needed and that they do serve an important purpose. I would love to see Black Panther 2 do this as well, and put T'Challa through his toughest challenge yet. At the end of the first film, we see a hero who is finally confident in who he is, both as the Black Panther and as the leader of Wakanda. And I think for the sequel to be truly great, it needs to put all of that to the test.
Definitely a lot of interesting ideas there. I certainly agree that at the end of the movie, when T'Challa comes clean about Wakanda to the public, it opens a lot of doors for what a potential sequel could look like. A lot of really interesting paths they could take that. It's undoubtedly going to come into play in the next movie, but I would love to know what you guys think in the comments below. Which one of these ideas is your favorite, or if you have an idea of your own, let us know. I love chatting with you guys in the comments as soon as a new video goes live. It's one of my favorite parts of the job, one of my favorite things that we get to do. So thank you so much to everyone who does comment, and please make sure to go check out Captain Midnight's channel. It's linked right here on screen. Couldn't make it easier for you. I would highly recommend this video right here that he posted recently about how Marvel created a phenomenon through the character of Black Panther. It's really great. I'll stop talking now. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Scott, reminding you to read between the panels and grow smarter through comics. See ya.